All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below as usual. This video is going to be entitled Why the Hall of Fame Will Suck. I don't really talk about sports as much. Like I said, I got a podcast, a boxing podcast, so I do that on that. But it just, it bothered me. I was watching, not television, but highlights or whatever. It's talking about, sports. And it dawned on me that, the Hall of Fame in the future is going to be horrible. Like, I don't like the NBA Hall of Fame because I think sometimes they induct players that weren't that good, even when, or weren't Hall of Fame caliber players, And you know the difference between somebody who's great and somebody who's, all right. Or, somebody who's great, somebody who might be an all-star every now and then. Well, Hall of Fame player, a player who had a hot run, and average and below average, right? So what happens is, when I look at basketball, it's like because it looks like you only have to play half the game now. And what I mean by that is, if people who are great defenders aren't looked at with any respect. You got to have offense. And you got some of the greatest players in the current NBA who can't play defense to save their life. So how can they be the greatest of all time if they were only great on one side of the floor? We're talking about people. There was a time where people felt like Dennis Rodman was overrated because Dennis Rodman, all he did was rebound. But he rebounded and defended. And he made sure that those two things he did better than everybody in the league for a long period of time. I get that. You say Reggie Miller was a shooter, but he tried to defend. You know what I'm saying? He just wasn't good at it. But these people, they're coming up with people who really are not well-rounded, and I shouldn't say well-rounded, even for their position, for their skill set, they're not well-rounded. People get mad and say, is Dwight Howard a Hall of Fame player? He could be a Hall of Fame player. It's just he's going to always be viewed as a guy who never really reached his full potential because he didn't seem to work at getting better. And another thing, baseball, baseball and football have this synonymous thing where a person could be a Hall of Fame player, but I don't like them. And see, this is one of the reasons why I say the Hall of Fame will suck in the future, because you're basically making it a popularity contest. And it already, in the All-Star games and the Pro Bowls are already popularity contests as is, because are we really going by who's the best player at each position each year all the time? No, you're going about who's the biggest name each year. That's the reality. If you make two All-Star teams in a row, or two Pro Bowls in a row, your name's in the mix, even if you're not that good that next year. It is what it is. But there are people who got gypped out of Pro Bowls, who got played, and they're gonna be people who get played out of the Hall of Fame because of that. T.O. can't get in the Hall of Fame, and now they wonder if Randy Moss can't get in. If they can't get in on the first ballot, let's be real, that's ridiculous. And the hypocrisy of it, which is what makes it worse to me. Because if Steve Smith gets in as a first ballot Hall of Famer, he was way more out of line than Terrell Owens. You know, Barry Bonds hasn't got in yet. They want to say, we're going to hold Pete Rose out until death because he gambled. Whatever. What about the people who play baseball that I'm not too sure if they're going to get in now? Because they weren't as liked as other people. Should Mark McGwire get in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion? Absolutely not. It's a strike. He's just a strikeout machine. But he hit a lot of homers. I get that. Strikeout machine. Sammy Sosa, whatever. Which Sammy? Light Sammy, dark Sammy, which Sammy? But that could be me saying I ain't like him. But, because the reason I'm saying that is if you're going to say that Pete Rose is a cheater, how can you say that Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa aren't cheaters and Roger Clemens and they basically everybody in that era, you're gonna hold out Barry Bonds is the one you're gonna hold out. And so, Alex Rodriguez will probably be in the Hall of Fame. They won't call him a cheater, but he's a cheater, right? He got caught multiple times. But that's the problem. And then you won't even blame the commissioner for allowing performance-enhancing drugs, steroids, that's what that really means, y'all, steroids, into baseball and making it legal. So now all these players are cheaters when the commissioner of baseball, am I saying it? Commissioner Wright? I was about to say Steinbrenner, but who had Steinbrenner? That Tagliabue, that's football. I forgot that guy's name already. But he's the one that really did it. But he won't be held responsible. They might put him in the Hall of Fame as far as, the commissioner of baseball. But it is what it is. That's my issue with it. Then you got people, does it go by stats? Does it go by numbers? Like, when it's convenient for you, it does. When it's inconvenient, it doesn't. And, take a player like Nnamdi Asomugha. Perennial Pro Bowler, they just didn't throw to him. He shut down people every week for damn near a decade. They just didn't throw to him. So because he don't have that many career interceptions, he's not looked at as a Hall of Fame player because they didn't throw to him. Players like Christmas McAllister, Ty Law had a lot of interceptions. Just saying, Same thing with are people going to look at people like Chad Johnson because, how could Chad Johnson, his antics in the Hall of Fame jacket, he only was great for a long period of time. He has the numbers, but now he needs better numbers. But his numbers are damn near, like his numbers in the same ballpark as Steve Smith's numbers. Just saying. Then what about longevity? Derek Mason played forever. He has numbers because of his longevity. Is he going to be a Hall of Fame receiver? See, because there's so much silly nuance. Like Edgerrin James should have been in the Hall of Fame. Since Terrell Davis is in the Hall of Fame, why shouldn't Bo Jackson be in the Hall of Fame? Going back to basketball, I didn't understand how Yao Ming got in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. I think Rich Smith got in the Hall of Fame too. Dallas Shrimp, one of them. I didn't get that either. Is Grant Hill gonna be in the Hall of Fame? I don't think so. But did he already? No, I don't think so. But because when people's career is so far extended, when people consider Vince Carter a Hall of Famer, T-Mac was a Hall of Famer. But then some people are like, nah, not really. Okay. So if T-Mac can get into the Hall of Fame, when people might turn What about Marbury? It's not a Hall of... You know what? You're not going to give Marbury that opportunity, right? Because if AI in, Marbury, I mean, come on now. Of course, Paul Pierce is going to get in. You know, Antoine Walker. You know, it's like a mixed bag of like guys you could say, yeah, because, you know, Hall of Famers are supposed to stand out. You know, Kobe, Shaq, Iverson, Miller, Jordan, Pippen, Barkley. Not nobody on the cusp. You get what I'm saying? Nobody on the cusp. Like, yeah. Rick Fox made some All-Star games, but should he be, you know, that type of player? No diss to Rick Fox though. Just saying, you know, Michael Redd could be Allen Houston, right? I think Allen Houston did make it. I'm not too sure though. You know, or they gonna throw John Starks in the Hall of Fame? You get what I'm saying? So, you know, to me, and plus the players aren't as well rounded, and they seem to be like one dimensional to the point that is just ridiculous. You know, some of the great players of all times, the Hall of Fame players, were able to change their game because of age or injury and still be as productive. These guys can't do that. You know, and that says a lot. But you got a good 4-year run, you the man. I mean, they're going to say Steve Nash is a Hall of Famer. He had a good 5-year run. Back-to-back MVPs when he really didn't win. He wasn't the best player in the league. You know, but think about that. You know, some people have more MVPs than Kobe. And I don't even like... I was a Kobe hater because he was just too good. But, you know, people better than Kobe? No. And that's what plays into this people like you, people don't like you thing. Is because sometimes people can have the best year ever, but same thing with the LeBron James argument. He could be the MVP every year. But do you really want to count him as the MVP every year? Obviously, people are trying to make new stars. That was the same issue with Shaq back in the day. Was he the best player in the league? Yeah. You know, I think it took Jordan to retire for them to shut that down. Who's the best? Jordan. You had to really out Jordan to be an MVP. You know, when Charles Barkley won an MVP, that was because Chuck was killing him. Like nobody could, not even Jordan, be like, that motherfucker was balling. Couldn't win in the finals though, but he was balling. You know. But, you know, to me, that's what I think about the sports talk. I think, you know, it's too much catering and people can't really earn it the hard way or set themselves apart. Because, matter of fact, the fans are so fickle and the teams are so fickle, they're gonna make it worse because, you know, guys are gonna have shorter careers. They're gonna get benched. The media is gonna get so far involved in these situations to the point where it gets ridiculous, and people's runs of greatness are going to be shorter. You know, he had 3 bad games. You got to get rid of him. Like, you might not see in the future people be able to even have record-breaking longevity and consistency because the media has turned so fickle on everybody that, you know, the media, then the city turns, then the fans turns, then the owners turn, the coaches turn, and the turnover is so fast now that, you know, Darrelle Revis ain't even in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like, they turned on him as if the other cornerback. Like, I'm pretty sure he could start in the NFL. Just saying, you know. That's the same thing with the Colin Kaepernick thing. Not the social part of it, out of it. Yeah, you can't play. But at the same time, you know, next year they might let Johnny Manziel back. And all of these excuses of being a terrible quarterback and being out of shape and all that doesn't count. This is why I think in the future the Hall of Fame will suck, because it's just too much hypocrisy. We out.